The arm is not a tool, Sculptor's codex. Mid-battle, the Shinobi's prosthetic seethes with Genichiro's essencete steel forged in the dilapidated temple's shadow. He cannot unclench it. Not Sculptor's steel but packed, or the memory dilapidated ghost's temples coiled in its edge shadow. Each strike splinters his soul. Each Shinobi's tool is a prosthetic phantom limb, not Sculptor's steel but packed, or the memory. The Sculptor's pact is not a gift, it is a wound that never clots. Why does the dragon head bleed when the Shinobi hesitates? The weight of these blades is not in their edge, it is the unresolved past, coiled in every swing. As the prosthetic evolves, so does the wielder's truth. Acceptance is not wholeness, it is learning to carry the fracture. These are not weapons, they are a mirror, each strike a confession. The Shinobi does not fight his ghosts, he becomes them. One by one. The great Shinobi owl taught silence, but orphans hunger for voices. The prosthetic's tool's blade hook, flame are not chosen, they are imposed. Each one a splinter in the void left by a father's name, a mother's breath. The sculptor knew this. Their craft does not mend, it redirects. The Shinobi's strikes are not his own. They are the sculptor's answer to a question he cannot ask. What remains when duty devours the self? The tools blade his rage, the tools bear his grief, yet they are not him. They are the sculptor's echo, a second master. The Shinobi wields them, the tools wield him. A cycle carved in the same stone that built the temple, the same hands that shattered it. How many souls does the sculptor hollow to keep one alive? The question lingers, but the temple does not answer. It only watches, waiting for the day the prosthetic becomes the wound. The dragon's tail lashes like a serpent coiled around his fury. It grants reach, but only by twisting his spine into a question mark of control. The thunderclap's shockwave cracks bones. Its price is a memory, a moment of peace the Shinobi once craved. Each strike with the blood-stained blade carves deeper than flesh. The iron code demands sacrifice, the blade demands a name, a syllable of the self to feed its hunger. These tools do not kill, they unravel. The dragon's tail forces the Shinobi to wield his rage as a third arm, its weight a constant ache of choice. The thunderclap's boom is a lay, it does not return power. It steals it, borrowing strength from a future where the Shinobi may have nothing left. The blood-stained blade's edge is a mirror. To parry is to bleed, to strike is to forget. What becomes of a man who trades his quiet for a weapon's voice? The prosthetics do not obey. They answer to the fractures within him. Each tool is a pact, a wound reopened. The dragon's tail thrashes with his fury. The thunderclap detonates his silence. The blood-stained blade whispers, asterisk, you already knew the cost. Asterisk, the Shinobi does not fight with these tools. He fights through them, and every victory feels like a piece of him dissolves. The question is not asterisk how asterisk they work. It is why he lets them. Genichiro Ashina, who severed the Shinobi's arm, embodies the force the tools seek to erase. The great Shinobi owl imposed the iron code, binding duty to sacrifice. The sculptor forged the prosthetic between memory and destiny. The tools do not merely follow commands, they fracture the self they replace. The owl's teachings demand self-annihilation. The sculptor's craft whispers doubt, is this creation or erasure? Each clamp, blade, and grapple mirrors a part of the Shinobi he no longer recognizes. The owl's code etched itself into his sinew. The sculptor's hands blurred the line between builder and usurper. Ashina's blade left a wound that the tools now fill, but every swing, every activation deepens the split. A prosthetic claw does not mimic a hand, it rewrites purpose. The Shinobi fights with limbs that remember his past, reject his present, and deny his future. The sculptor's motives remain sealed in the dilapidated temple's shadows. Was the arm a gift or a prison? The cognitive dissonance manifests in every battle. To wield is to surrender, to resist is to break. The tools carry the weight of all who shaped him, and in their motion, the Shinobi's soul grinds itself into the hilt. The blade's edge is a scar, the weight is not in steel but in memory. Each appendage is a spectral echo hat the Shinobi becomes when his soul fractures. How many ghosts does it take to wield a tool that remembers more than its master? The tools are not weapons, they are extensions of a self that no longer fits its skin. Each prosthetic blade, claw, staff carries the weight of a soul chipped away. To wield them is to acknowledge absence. The missing arm is not a wound but a void, a hollow carved by duty, by loss, by the refusal to let the body die. The shinobi does not replace what was taken, he approximates, he mimics. He grasps at the shape of a self that dissolved long before the first tool was forged. What begins as utility becomes obsession. The tools degrade not from use but from the truth they cannot hide. The more they are relied upon, the further the self unravels. A blade that once cut through enemies now cuts through memory. A claw that scaled walls now claws at the edges of identity. By the final act, the prosthetics crumble like ash. Their failure is inevitable. Their purpose was never to heal, but to illustrate the cost of delay. The Shinobi's original arm was not lost in battle. It was shed when the soul it served could no longer sustain the illusion of wholeness. To name this struggle is to misunderstand it. The tools do not symbolize, they testify. They are the quiet screams of a man who knows he is becoming something other than human, yet cannot stop reaching for the ghost of a hand he never had. How many prosthetics does it take to forget you were ever whole? The answer lies in the dust of broken tools. The answer is none. The prosthetic does not loosen its grip. Each tool is an extension, each a shard of fractured will. The dragon Ikemanji claws at purpose. Bombs bloom like unspent rage. The grappling hook tugs toward what is lost. The sculptor's hands bound them, but not with mercy. The Shinobi's identity is worn into the haft, the blade, the cord. No rust, no decay, only the slow erosion of self into weapon. Why do the tools haunt? Because they are not attached to flesh. They are stitched to the soul's absence. The prosthetic is not a replacement. It is a translation, a language of scars the body cannot speak. The shinobi moves, the prosthetic moves with him. Not as master, not as servant, as a shadow that outlives the sun. What remains when the last tool breaks, not nothing. The imprint of a name carved in steel and silence. He is the prosthetic now. The prosthetic is his name. Each prosthetic is a relic of reconstruction. The sculptor molds steel, but the shinobi molds himself. Kamui Kusariich name a myth clutched then rejected. The tools do not fight, they remember. Every swing carves a history of loss. The shinobi does not wield them, they wield him. A blade is not a blade here. It is a question who shapes who. The sculptor's temple is no sanctuary, it is a mirror. Cracked like the hands that reach toward it. FromSoftware does not build games, they excavate wounds. Sekiro's tools are not mechanics. They are elegies for a soul that fractures with every step. The prosthetic is not a part, it is the whole. A name etched in the language of breaking. Each prosthetic is a relic of reconstruction. The sculptor molds steel, but the shinobi molds himself. Kamui Kusariich name a myth clutched then rejected. The tools do not fight, they remember. Every swing carves a history of loss. The shinobi does not wield them, they wield him. A blade is not a blade here. It is a question who shapes who. The sculptor's temple is no sanctuary, it is a mirror. Cracked like the hands that reach toward it. FromSoftware does not build games, they excavate wounds. Sekiro's tools are not mechanics. They are elegies for a soul that fractures with every step. The prosthetic is not a